Ooh, welcome back, Lelanders, to a new edition, or new episode of Clone Evolution, Clone Park Edition. Now, today, I am still feeling a little bit rough. If anyone's been in the Discord, I ended up testing positive for the thing we're not allowed to talk about. But I've already tested negative yesterday, so day 2 negative. So yeah, I've only really got a few more days of quarantine to go and back into society, so figure feeling kind of okay, so we'll do a stream, see how it goes. I might actually talk quite a bit less today, hopefully. Now, to be fair, the only reason I'm even trying the stream today is, I don't know, last time I got really sick and I didn't know what I had because we didn't have the test kits or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was it. Because it's like now I've actually experienced what it's like to actually test positive. So now I can compare the two, and oh yeah, they're almost identical. So I was like, okay, so yeah, I guess I have had it twice now. One's confirmed with a PCR test, and then in the past when I got it, they never had the test, so no one knew. Yeah, and if anyone's wondering how bad it hit me, it actually did hit me pretty bad. I can't say that it was like a walk in the park. Wasn't the worst sickness for some symptoms, but other symptoms were the worst I've had. That's what I was thinking. Every time I read the symptoms what other people get, mine was actually quite different. And just to alleviate any concerns, it's like, yeah, my whole family is okay. It's like even my mom, who has had this already, she didn't test positive, and we're trying to isolate. Well, it's kind of weird, though, too, because she was feeling sick. So it was weird that she didn't test positive, and we both had the same symptoms. So I don't know why. Like they said, I guess maybe we should have just kept giving her more and more tests. But no, same thing, the symptoms we had is we couldn't smoke. So I don't know if anyone's had the virus and all of a sudden they couldn't smoke. That was the weirdest symptom I had. It was like all of a sudden every time I tried to smoke, it just didn't feel good. So I was like, oh shit, man. I gotta stop, like, not smoking cigarettes, but vaping weed. Couldn't do it. I was like, oh man, it's not feeling good. And what I meant by not feeling good, it's just like it's not sitting well. It's like yeah, definitely your lungs aren't working the greatest. Hey, Colin, how's it going, man? So I did stop vaping for a couple days, and that's actually why I'm a little bit more buzzed than normal, is because, yeah, the weed is hitting me quite a bit stronger. I probably should be waiting longer because my lungs aren't really feeling the greatest yet, but God, I'm a horrible addict. If anyone wants to see bad advice or a good example of what not to do. Yeah. Now, I can't offer medical advice, that's for sure. No, if I had to say the worst symptom, like even last time than I had it this time, it almost feels like you get a weird pressure. It's like, oh God, it's really uncomfortable. But I wouldn't say it's bad enough like, oh God, I gotta go to the hospital. It's like almost barely noticeable. But it is like a weird pressure feeling. So that's what I have to say, like the symptoms wise, mine are so weird that I almost get none of the mild symptoms. So when people like show the list of mild symptoms, I don't have any of those. I think the only mild symptom I got was a headache. So I was like, okay, headache, but no runny nose, no cough, no sore throat. The only reason I even like decided to do the PCR test is I was like, holy shit, I can't smoke. What's going on? And then I asked my mom, I'm like, how are you feeling? And she's like, oh, she can't smoke either. I'm like, what do you mean? And she hasn't quit smoking her whole life, like 50 years or whatever, or 60 even. No, probably 50. But anyways, yeah, so she said she couldn't smoke either. So I was like, what's going on? Why can't we both smoke? So then I went and did and I was getting body cramps. So that was the other thing. If you look at the list of like severe symptoms, I actually have the severe symptoms, but mild versions of them. And it's probably, I don't know, it's because if I had it twice already or maybe even 3 times, God. Yeah, so hopefully YouTube doesn't take my episode down just because I'm talking about getting sick, but I have to say I agree with the World Health Organization, all the CDC claims. Not allowed to disagree. But anyways, to be fair to the CDC and World Health Organization, my mom did seem to have less symptoms. And she did have it, so. But I wouldn't say much noticeably less. But yeah, I guess a little less. She didn't test positive, so that was definitely less, even though we almost had the exact same symptoms. Oh, Con wants to know, how do we get the purple Anderson? Yeah, I've had enough about the virus too, man. It's like, Jesus. The one thing that I loved about the virus actually testing positive, I was like, oh, thank God. Now that I know that I've had it. I was always so paranoid. I was like, oh shit, what happens if I get it? Like, I just die instantly. So at least I know exactly what it feels like to have it twice. Well, one's confirmed, but like 99% sure the other case. And that was like 2 years ago. So it's like, yeah, I guess I've had it 2 years ago and another time now. All right, so yeah, the viewer wants to know how to get purple Anderson. I think there's only one way to get purple Anderson. Let me check. Oh, wait, I know a couple ways. They're not easy ways, that's for sure. Oh, yeah, and the one thing I'm doing, if anyone's saying, hey, man, you're going crazy, or you just barely got over the most deadly pandemic virus ever and you're already vaping again, but I'm not drinking booze. I decided not going to do the booze until I at least feel 100%. Is obviously the booze, well, not obviously, it could be. I think it's a little bit worse. Because a lot of people said, yeah, weed doesn't really interact too badly other than the lung issues, I guess. But yeah. Hey, Gusto's here too. Hey, Gremlin, welcome back, everyone. Yeah, as you can tell, I look like shit because I haven't been sleeping too well. The other weird symptom I got from the virus is I got insomnia. But I'm pretty sure I know why I got insomnia. Obviously, every time I quit weed, I get insomnia. So I can't vaporize when you get the virus, and all of a sudden, I'm not vaporizing, and then I get insomnia. Fuck, I like stayed awake for like 40 hours. Yeah, I wasn't tired at all either. I was like wide awake. Alright, so yeah, let's finish the viewer's question right after this. Sorry to delay it so long. Now, I promised myself I was going to try to talk less this episode. So much for that. Now, I don't know if anyone noticed, but the last episode I recorded, how many ever days ago that was, I guess 4 days, is, yeah, I was already feeling it a bit then. So that's why I didn't go to the Star Wars thing. Because I was like, shit, man, I got to do the PCR test before I go to a big stadium, especially if I'm not feeling the greatest. And what do you know, I was positive. So anyways, let's go. How do you get the Anderson? My favorite way to get the Anderson is, which we just missed, is every once in a while they have one of those icons here that says exchange event, and then they'll offer you 3 different heroes to pick from. Sadly, we were not able to do the last exchange event because I didn't have the water hero we needed. So that'll be one of the conditions you'll have to meet to exchange to get Anderson, is you'll probably have to save up a whole bunch of Anderson's a chaos, so you'll probably have to save up a few chaos things, because you'll have to exchange one of those, and you'll have to use one of the exchange tickets. If you've ever seen the exchange ticket, they're a fucking bitch to get these. But if you can get them, or replacement cards. So yeah, you can use these to get Anderson. How often does Anderson come up on the replacement event? Maybe once a year, if you're lucky. Once every 2 years, maybe. I don't know. If anyone knows the ratio of how often Anderson comes up on that, I think I've only seen him once, maybe twice. So that's one of the ways you can get Anderson. And then the other way I believe you can get Anderson, I could be wrong, is the Vibram store, or Vibranium. So yeah, if you look at this Vibranium list every month, I think it changes. And every once in a while, I'm pretty sure they'll put an Anderson. Yeah, they do. I remember. There was an Anderson here a few weeks or months ago, and I was bitching I couldn't buy it. Because I didn't have enough of the fucking tokens. So I think that's 2 ways you can get Anderson. Oh yeah, and then the third way is you can... oh yeah, that's it. Third way is the gene bank. So if you're burning the perfect scrolls, you can get Anderson. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can get them from brown scrolls. It's just very rare. It's like extremely rare. Like once a year you're lucky if you get it. It's like me and dating. Just kidding. No, sadly it's kind of pissing me off. I always kind of liked it when I was having problems with online dating, because I could be like, oh shit, It's not my fault that I'm not like dedicating time to dating and stuff. It's just because I'm not getting anyone who wants to date. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Maybe it's because a lot of people aren't in bars as much as they used to be. Man, just keep getting flooded with dating requests. It's almost overwhelming. And it really sucks too because I'm so busy I don't even have the time for it anymore. Yeah, so I can only blame myself now. I can't blame others. Oh, the victimhood all out the window. No, so that was the Anderson. Oh yeah, and then the other way, if you want to get Anderson, let's go. Hero chart. Now, if I had to guess how many date requests I've had, I think I've had more in the last year than like the last 10 years combined. It's really fucked up. I'm sure a lot of people are probably experiencing that, not just me. And it can't be because I'm not getting any better looking as I age, that's for sure. I don't think so. But anyways. So yeah, if you click here, Anderson, and you go up to the scroll, you go, it says the only way you can get them is the gene bank. So I don't know why they do that, eh? Like, why did they lie to you and say it's only the gene bank? Obviously, you can get them from the Vibranium store. You can get them from the exchange event. Maybe they mean that's just the common source to get them, I guess, is the gene bank. So obviously, if you're not sure where to get heroes, obviously those are... Oh yeah, and then the other way you can get some heroes is thanks to Shelly. Oh, fuck. Did I just close that? Son of a whore. Oh, there's anything wrong with that. Oh, there it is. So if you go to the pinned attachment, there it is. Let's make this bigger so we can see it. That's what she said. So I can never resist that one. No, so Anderson isn't on here, but if you need other heroes, yeah, check the casino list. And if you need the casino list, just come into the Discord. Shelly pinned it to the top. So thanks again, Shelly, if you're watching the replay. I know Shelly lives overseas, so she can usually only watch the early morning. Yeah, so I'll try to save my worst jokes for at night when all the younger viewers are watching. Try to keep it a little cleaner. Alright, so there we go. No, the show has always got to be PG-13, but I still get awkward, or it seems weird when kids are watching. Especially if it's, I don't know, the weed stuff. Weed and kids I always thought was very awkward. I know my parents never really had issues, it seems. It's like they would smoke, well, I guess I shouldn't say my parents. People from my age when I was growing up, the adults, they would smoke weed like it was like common as cigarettes. Well, I think it's probably too, because my parents were the 70s generation. They had me in the 70s, so that explains everything, right? That's how I was thinking, being born in the 70s is really perfect. At least I have an excuse. It's like, oh, that explains it. No, there was a lot of drugs in the 70s, just in case anyone hasn't heard. Alright, so let's look at beating this part next. Can we actually beat 11? We should. I don't know, lately my team has been losing to really low-level teams again. So you can tell whatever I did change-wise is not working out good. Surprise, surprise. Can we beat this team? Fuck, man, that doesn't look good, right? Level 2 star are those two? Even that? Well, oh, God. Looks like I've already played one. Or no. Someone attacked me and died. Oh, that's good. That's what... Oh, wait. How come we have no score then? What the fuck? I don't even know how this stuff works. I've been playing it every day for over a year. Well, going on 2. Alright, there we go. I gather how some of it works. I definitely lack a deeper understanding of it. Like most things in life for me. Alright, there we go. Hey, Mom, how's it going? Oh, he's going over to the Moss. See you in an hour. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, congratulations to everyone's fast being over. Fuck, man, I wish I had more self-control to get the fasting done. But that's the one thing I was thinking that was great about getting sick now. Not to make fun of it or anything, but it was helping me lose weight large. Especially when you have the loss of appetite. Holy shit, man. I think I went like maybe eating a sandwich once a day for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, I definitely didn't eat much. Oh yeah, and to keep myself strong, I noticed with when you test positive, man, fuck, like working out definitely makes it worse. So what I'm doing to try not to get atrophy is just flex my muscles. I'm not going to start working out until I start feeling better. Because that's what happened last time. Last time I don't know for sure if I had it, but now comparing the two, last time when I was working out too quick, it made it worse, almost to the point of getting long haul symptoms. So I was like, fuck it, man, I better just rest a little bit more this time, not push it right away. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but yeah, working out definitely made it worse. So that's what I was thinking, that's probably how I recovered at least reasonably quicker this time than last time. Was, yeah, I paced myself, made sure that I didn't go crazy working out, just rested. I'm not actually working this time. Last time it was before the testing and everything, so everyone was like, hey, oh yeah, last time I got sick was before anyone else in the country had it. That was what was really making me wonder. Well, there was like 30 or 300, some amount like that, but to think that I had it all the way back then. Yeah, and it's easy to tell that it's the same thing because a lot of weird symptoms. Like, I've never had a cold or like a flu before where when you breathe it hurts. Like, that's fucked, right? Like, I don't know, that's one of the symptoms. You're like, okay, yeah, this is definitely different than something else. Now, I better stop talking about it because this episode will get in trouble. Hey, Old Snigger, how's it going? No, so 2 days tested negative at least, so hopefully in the clear. But obviously I'm going to keep pacing myself, at least till I feel 100% better. Excuse me. Oh, I noticed that too, the sore throat thing. When I say I don't have a sore throat, it's when I start talking too much, then I get the sore throat. But obviously you get a sore throat from talking too much normally, so that's why it's kind of hard to tell. If you didn't have the PCR test, I would never guess. It'd be just so hard to tell. Yeah, I'm still feeling pretty shitty actually, but yeah, at least I'm testing negative already. Like, I can't even vaporize much. Like, really, I probably should be not vaporizing at all. But when I vaporize, it definitely, there's a discomfort. If I had to compare the discomfort vaporizing when you have the virus to not, or to something else that isn't the virus, it's if you vaporize a lot and then you take a whole bunch of drags off a cigarette right after, like combining vaping and cigarettes. Because I don't know if anyone's ever tried that, but usually that causes a certain discomfort also. And I could compare that discomfort to what it's like to have the virus. It's like it's a lung discomfort, right? So, very similar feeling. So if anyone's like paranoid, well, I shouldn't be giving medical advice, but if you're paranoid what that lung feeling feels like, and want to experience it firsthand without getting the virus, just be like a chronic vapor and then start chain smoking. It's like, there you go, now you can feel it. Sorry, that was worst advice ever. Don't actually do that. I'm just joking. Yeah, it's like vape an entire container of vape juice and then smoke a carton of cigarettes. And be like, all right, this is what the virus feels like. Who knows? Maybe that's what asthma feels like too. Because I always think I've never had asthma, but the way they describe it, it sounds like a tightening or whatever. Or if, yeah, the allergic reaction from, what was it, royal jelly. I never even finished that episode. Fuck, I forgot. But if anyone heard, I was doing some royal jelly experiments, and that's what happens when you get the allergic reaction from that. Yeah, I forgot. No, I haven't done royal jelly for quite a while, so it's definitely not coming from that. Whoops. Oh wait, did I fight that guy and win? I think I did. Yeah, let's try again. Yeah, so anyways, when I did the royal jelly well, I shouldn't say I did it by accident, but I ate too much by accident just to see if it was, how bad the side effects were. And oh yeah, side effects from royal jelly almost feels the same as the virus, for me anyway. That tightening feeling. But the worst is with the virus, it doesn't go away. At least with royal jelly, if you wait an hour, it fades pretty quick. Unless you have like a really bad reaction to it. Yeah, the headaches. That was the one that I was worried that the headaches would be super bad. But at least when I got tested positive and I had a headache, it was about a mediocre headache. So it definitely wasn't a mild headache, but it was, at least it wasn't a horrible headache. It was definitely bad enough I took Tylenol though. And about 2 extra strength Tylenol was enough to kill the symptoms. Other than the tightness. The only way I could get rid of the tightness is just stop vaping. And then it would go away. So that's what I was thinking. If I couldn't make the tightness go away, then I would go to the hospital right away. Because it'd be like, oh fuck, I can't get better. But all I can do is just stop vaping and it goes away. And even, yeah, usually 1 or 2 vapes isn't so bad either. But if I start getting carried away, do like 10 vapes back to back, then oh yeah, then you can start to feel the tightness again. It's like your lungs just can't handle it yet. I don't know, everyone's probably going to get different symptoms because you know the grossest symptom I got? Like everyone kept talking about losing their sense of smell, and then I heard some people it changed the sense of smell and taste, and then I remembered what happened to me. The first time I got the virus, my sense of smell changed, and it changed in the weirdest way. I didn't even know it was possible to happen. It changed how I can smell things, like, it's so gross I don't even want to say it, but in case anyone else gets it, I want to know if I'm the only person it's happened to. But what it was is when I went to the washroom, it's so weird, like, I don't know, before the virus, if I had like asparagus or something, I could like smell when I went to the washroom and be like, hey, I had asparagus, I can smell it. But now when I go to the washroom, it doesn't matter what I eat. If it's toast, potatoes, cereal, like a glass of milk or anything. When I go to the washroom, I can smell it. I'm like, that's not right? Like, why the hell am I able to smell it? It doesn't make any sense, right? I even asked my doctor about it. I'm like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, why can I smell what I ate? They're like, no, they're like, what do you mean? And I told them the story, and they're like, is that even possible? And I'm like, I know, right? It's a gross symptom too. I tried to tell people, it's like, what's your change in smell? It's like, oh, I can smell my food and shit. It's almost like a superpower unlocked, right? One that I never wanted. Now, I was almost worried that I wasn't digesting food properly, but my food digestion looks exactly the same. So nothing changed there that I can see visually. I don't know if anyone else has had that. Maybe it'll relieve my stress. I tried Googling it and I can't find any examples of someone else having it. Which is so weird, right? Normally when you Google something, there's like 1,000 people that had the same thing. The only thing close I heard is my one friend that got the virus. It changed the smell of weed, or taste of weed. So he said all of a sudden weed just tasted horrible and he couldn't ingest it. So I was like, okay, so yeah, at least there's someone had a similar thing. I'm glad it didn't affect weed for me. Weed is actually always the same for me still. Didn't change its smell or taste. Holy fuck, man. This guy's team puts up a good battle, eh? Maybe we should bring in somewhere stronger so they can kill them faster. Oh, that's good. Healer's gone. Alright, so I guess we'll do one more little vape. I know I probably shouldn't. Excuse me, sorry, I'm drinking Coca-Cola. Gives me worse burps than fucking beer. I don't know, I figured if I drank the Coca-Cola it would help relieve the pressure, because then I could burp a lot. Excuse me. I don't know if anyone's had like gas buildup problems. It feels like if you burp a baby sort of thing, you start to feel better. No, it's only a mild sensation of pressure, but yeah, it's annoying. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If I like had a, well, I did, if a whole bunch of hot babes were asking me for dates right now, obviously because I'm isolating I can't, but no, even if I was already done the isolation period, I probably still wouldn't, because I'm like, you know what? Feeling not the greatest still. It almost feels like, yeah, my energy is probably at about 30% of what it normally is. So obviously I shouldn't run that energy tank any lower. Yeah, even the sugar, I don't want to offer medical advice, but yeah, sugar boost, that seems to help a little. Burp out some of the pressure. Yeah, oh yeah, that reminds me. The last time I had this, you know what was one of the weirdest things that I found affected it? I don't want to offer medical advice, obviously. Probably just a fluke and it didn't really do anything, but when I went outside, I was like, oh, I need to get some fresh air. Maybe the fresh air will help. Fresh air will help. And it helped a little bit, but not really dramatically. And then all of a sudden I lit a campfire. And then I started to stand near the campfire and breathe in a little bit of the smoke, which I thought was going to make it worse. And for some reason, it actually made it way better. I don't know why. I was like, why the hell would breathing in campfire smoke seem to help? That was one of the things that got me through it last time, actually. I was like, when I went out there and started breathing in the campfire smoke, all of a sudden I started to rejuvenate. Now, the only thing I can think of is, like, obviously not a doctor, but when it comes to camping, like in the woods, outback, and you don't have any showers, one of the things they recommend is not stinking, not because you're just going to smell bad, but it's actually a sign of a lot of bacteria building up and you could get staph infections and shit. So one of the things they tell you, if you're stranded in the woods and you can't get to like a lake or a river or somewhere to shower, and you're like lost and you're waiting for someone to rescue you, one of the ways that you can keep yourself clean is they call it smoke showers. So you can literally just like start a campfire or whatever if you have a lighter, and then put on a whole bunch of leaves so that you create a shit ton of smoke, and then just let that smoke cover your whole body. And the theory behind it is that it kills all the bacteria, right? Because it sterilizes you. So I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but that's the only thing I can think of. Why it would have any effect at all. Oh yeah, the Clone Park event. I don't know, man. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff, I've been getting a little bit argumentative about it on Facebook because I just find it ridiculous. So many people just love Johnny Depp that they'll like turn a blind eye to no matter what he does. And obviously Amber Heard isn't some sort of saint, but I'm surprised how many people just despise her. So because she's so hated, I almost feel like you gotta cheer for the underdog a little, right? I don't know, some people just don't care about the underdog and will cheer for whoever they like anyways, but I'm always one of those underdog people. So obviously I don't think Amber Heard's a saint or anything, but dear God, can't believe how many people are just jumping on her. Especially a woman too. I'd be like, that's the one comment I started to realize. Why do I give Amber Heard the benefit of the doubt over Johnny Depp without even hearing the details or listening to them at all? And then I realized, because that's actually how I was raised. I almost forgot. Because what happened is when I was growing up, a few of my friends in high school, actually one of them, his wife, or his like mother and father, they had an abusive relationship. I was like, oh shit, is your dad beating your mom? He's like, no, it's the opposite. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, his mom is very violent. I'm like, okay, so a girl's hitting a guy, what's the worst gonna happen? He's like, what happens is, his dad was getting into trouble, like he couldn't hold a job and not a great provider or whatever. So if he didn't hold his job and he came home from work and he got fired or something, his mom, like the wife of the family, would beat him with weapons, like bats and stuff, right? So what would happen is he'd be getting beat by his wife so badly that he's like getting injured and like authorities are being called with like ambulances and shit. And guess what would happen? They would always arrest the guy. I was like, why the hell did the cops do that, right? Like, why did they always assume the guy is guilty and the woman is right, even though she's the one beating him with a freaking baseball bat? And then it clued in. I was like, the cops just picked the guy to arrest by default. They don't even care the details of the case. And why? It's the whole gender thing back in the day. Like modern days, obviously today we think of men and women as equals, but back then it was like a guy was considered much stronger than a woman. So if there was ever a woman hitting him, they would, or some sort of fight, they would just automatically assume the guy was more capable, so they would take him away from the situation, so it would cool it down, right? So they didn't care like who was at fault. They'd just arrest the guy, take him away. And then the theory was too, the cops were trying to teach the men in the society that if you're getting into a bad relationship and the woman is like abusive, there's really no way you can win. You'll always just get arrested and taken away, no matter what situation was going. So that was like a good way to deter these type of relationships from even occurring, because you would just automatically be guilty. So you wouldn't even try, right? Like, who in their right mind would do it if you knew you're just going to be jailed every time, right? So I don't know. I guess it's like an old stereotypical way of doing it and just always taking the woman's side, but it was sort of like by default, right? Like err on the side of caution. So I guess it's more old-fashioned now, and people are like, oh, just screw the woman and let's give the guy a fair trial now. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it's society these days. We'll see how it works out, right? I'm interested to see too. Like, that's one thing I'm thinking. Will the judge pick sides in this? Like, really, I don't think too many people are looking at this and saying both of these people are one's a liar and one's not. Maybe that's the case, but if I had to guess, both of them had a pretty bad relationship going. It wasn't just one person in this that was a disaster. It's pretty much a mutual disaster. And who hasn't had mutual disasters, right? Everyone's had some bad relationships, but I guess they never get to the point of cavity searches and stuff. Let's hope not. No, I heard some of the details. I'm like, you know what? That actually sounds just like Johnny Depp's character that he played from Fear and Loathing. And I always thought he played that character so well. It almost was like his natural personality. Like a raging alcoholic drug addict who's like always on the verge of just freaking out. I shouldn't make fun of it. It's terrible. I know what it is too. I seen, what was it, my parents go through a bad divorce. I seen my mom go through bad separation cases in court, even with just boyfriends. So I was like, this whole court case, I really don't even care about watching the details. I don't mind seeing the actual outcome, like reading the papers, but watching them argue like that in front of a judge, oh God, there's almost nothing I'd rather not watch. Now, I did watch like a 10-second clip of Amber Heard talking, because I'd never heard her talk before. So I was like, hey, let's actually hear what her voice sounds like. I'm not into modern movies and stuff, so I haven't actually seen any of her movies or TV shows or whatever she does. Oh yeah, wasn't she like in an Aquaman movie or something? Superheroes. I might get into the superhero movies again one day. I used to be into them when I was a kid or a teenager. I kind of stopped watching science fiction when I got to a certain age. Well, I shouldn't say stop, but I limited it. Not into it as much. Oh yeah, if anyone wants to hear the good news about my place up north, it was so funny. I got the good news right on the day of like testing positive, so I was like, oh god. It's like I got good news and bad news all on the same day. No, my estimate came back finally from the building store to like just building a brand new garage from scratch, like onto the concrete pad that's already there, but fuck man, if that estimate wasn't in my price range. So I'm like, holy fuck man, I might actually be able to afford this. And then I was thinking, no wonder as I tested positive today. It's like one of the only things that could stop me now is if I have like huge health problems. I'm like, oh fuck, tested positive. Oh fuck man, are we gonna lose this battle? Son of a whore. We only got 5 rounds left and we got shitloads of health. Oh, there we got him. Yes! Holy fuck, that was close. Wow. Now the other thing that if anyone hasn't had the virus and you're wondering some weird symptoms, it's like, the one I noticed is the lightheadedness. I don't know if anyone else has gotten that, but it is weird, right? Like, the one time when I had it, I was like working out while I was actually at work because I didn't know that it was the virus at the time. We didn't have the test kits or anything then. And for what we knew, there was no one in the country except for a few hundred that had it. So I was like, what are the odds I do? But yeah, back then when I had it and I was working out, like shoveling snow like crazy, it kept getting worse and worse. I was like, oh fuck man, I gotta stop shoveling, it's getting worse. And then I would stop shoveling for like a minute or two. All of a sudden I'd get my strength back. So I'd be like, oh, I'm back. And then I could start shoveling again. And then like 2 minutes into shoveling, bam, I'd be drained again. And then yeah, after doing that a few times, I would go sit in the truck. And as soon as I sat in the truck, I'd freak out. I'd be like, whoa. And the guy next to me in the seat, he's like, whoa, what's the matter? And I thought I fell through the seat. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, when I sat on the seat, it felt like I fell right through, even though I'm just sitting on the seat. And he's like, why did you feel like that? I'm like, I don't know. No, we were actually both sick. It was a guy that we were working with in another truck. He came back from a holiday from overseas right when the pandemic was starting. Like, I think, what was it, February or March of 2020? Yeah, so I guess I would have been one of the first cases in the fucking country. No, I don't think I spread it to anyone then, because I was only working at that time, and it was already the isolation or lockdowns had started, so the only people I was around were the people at work that were already sick. Oh wait, no, then I had my chiropractor trip, that's right. That's right, I was always trying to determine, did I get sick, or did everyone get sick from the guy on the trip, or did we get sick from, or did I get sick on that subway trip? That's right, there was 2 trips. Oh yeah, and then I asked everyone in Toronto, I'm like, hey guys, was anyone else sick on the subway that week? And everyone's like, yes, everyone. And I was like, what? Everyone was sick? I was like, wow, that's fucked. Right at the beginning of a pandemic, everyone got sick. But that was before we had testing, so no one knew. Yeah, so who knows? I bet you most Canadians, not to put words in their mouth, but I bet you everyone's had at least 2 or 3 times by now. Who knows? Maybe even more if you had asymptomatic cases. Huh. Yeah, old Stinger was saying he had the chills and the headaches. Yeah, that headache and the body ache, the funniest thing is I almost can tell right away when I get it now, because I've got a blown, or not completely blown out, but I injured my knee when I was like in my 20s. I don't know if anyone's ever had a knee injury, but it was like the sideways shift. I don't know if they call it the ACL or MCL or whatever it is, but I only strained it. At least I didn't tear it. So I was able to do rehab and it just got better. But if I ever get like in a weakened state from like some sort of flu or sickness, all of a sudden my body will break down and start feeling weak, and then that injury will start to act up. So I'll feel it stinging again. So that's right away. As soon as I felt my knee starting to sting, I was like, oh shit, my immune system is crashing. Or my whole body's energy level, or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, I guess your energy level and your immune system must be somewhat related, right? If not the exact same thing. No, we do got lots of darts for the Clone Park event, so like the show title says, we'll try to do some more of that before we wrap up. And we'll cover everything that was said in the Discord. We actually had quite a few comments. Oh yeah, and a whole bunch of people telling me to get better soon. Appreciate it. Excuse me. Ooh. Sorry, that one caught me off guard. Damn Coke. I had nothing to do with it. No, my vaporizer, if anyone's wondering, I'm sucking the hose. It's not because I like sucking hoses, but it's the vaporizer tank is actually full. So yeah, once it's full, it makes like a full chamber and I can't get air through. So I'll have to actually suck it a bit straight from the hose. And that way I can puncture a hole through the resin or vapor oil. And then I'll be able to get air through. So I'm sort of like just opening the seal. That sounds so nasty. I'm just sucking the hose to open the seal. Oh god. Next time I'll just explain nothing. Now, I shouldn't be cursing it, because really when the vapor oil tank is full, that means I just made like a full fiber's worth of like vapor oil that's worth approximately $40 a gram. So, not that I'm going to sell it, obviously I can't because it's illegal, but then I don't have to buy more. The government sells it, but yeah, theirs is a little bit weird tasting. I don't know if they flavor it or what it is. Now, obviously, the government doesn't use the same tool to make it as mine. They actually use CO2. So mine's using well, not oxygen, but just room air. They use straight CO2. The catch is they use CO2, and I don't think they have to change the temperature. But for me, because I'm using just air, it has to increase to 247. Ooh, shit. Can we beat this? Alright, let's read what happened in the Discord. Holy fuck, man. So much good advice. That reminds me. Excuse me. One of the players messaged me with some good advice, so we'll have to try to remember to read that. Oh yeah, and Steadfast. Sorry, we got the Star Wars stuff. Let's share that. I don't know how Steadfast finds all these rocks, man. I used to be really good at collecting rocks, which... she showed me some already that are better than I ever got. What is it, the Stormtrooper? That reminds me, I had a Stormtrooper costume that I was going to wear for the Blue Jays game. I'll have to find it. Maybe I'll wear it for Super Chats next Star Wars Day. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, so yeah, I guess not to offend anyone, but apparently celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Oh, it's already over. It's the 6th now. No, they're telling Canadians not to celebrate it because it's offensive or something. I was like, what? I just learned about it. That's what I say. I never heard of Cinco de Mayo or whatever my whole life because well, I shouldn't say we didn't have any, but it's not really a big Mexican population in my area of Canada. Or at least there wasn't. But now we have a whole bunch of people from Mexico. And yeah, I started to hear about Cinco de Mayo. I was like, what the hell is that? It's the 5th of May. No, they're trying to tell people it's like some sort of battle that happened, and that's what it is, not Mexican independence or something. So I can see why you'd get that confused, though, right? When you're saying independence, it almost sounds like some sort of battle, right? Yeah, so happy whoever's celebrating that battle day. Alright, so Steadfast, Alt Stinger. Oh, he's saying get better soon, thanks. Oh yeah, the tip, it was Regal. He says, not sure if you have enough flowers for the friend store, buying your scrolls, but that's what he does. He says scrolls are the best value from the friend store. Using flowers for each scroll as 5 casino tokens, using gems. Let's make it bigger so people have a chance of actually reading it. There we go. Tokens using gems. Each scroll costs 6 casino tokens. Lately, I use the friend store for only scrolls and still complete the casino event with bounty missions. Wow. So I think what he's saying is if you buy the things from the store with the friend stuff, then you can do better and still finish the casino. Which I find that hard to believe because last time I couldn't really do the casino, but I'll show you why. Here I promise not to talk too much today. I'm fucking talking more than ever. I know I'm the king of contradiction. Someone was saying that to me in Facebook the other day. They're like, you know what, Leland? You're always contradicting yourself. And I was like, clearly you haven't been watching my show. You would know that all by now. I'm like, I hate weed while I smoke weed. Oh man, let's finish him. Alright, so yeah, let's finish the other comments. We got Regals. What other one do we got? Oh yeah, speaking of Mexico, I don't know if anyone heard that Canelo Alvarez, he's going to be fighting again. I was like, man, I've never really followed his career since he fought Mayweather. So hopefully I don't jinx him, but I'm going to watch him this time. Looks like a pretty good fighter. I haven't seen too many fighters in boxing that really caught my attention because a lot of them, they just don't have the personality. But yeah, this Canelo guy, what was his story is he grew up in Mexico and he was born with red hair. So obviously, or maybe it's common there, but he said that when he went to school, his red hair always got him teased. So a lot of bullies would beat him up. So obviously, growing up in like a family of fighters, he learned how to box, and he would always have a lot of practice. So anyways, I guess he got so good at boxing growing up that now he's like this big star in Mexico, and he was even dyeing his hair black, or was it dark brown, something like that, but he went back to just letting it be red. And it kind of suits him better. I thought he did look kind of funny with the dyed hair, because you could tell with his skin tone that, yeah, the hair didn't really match. You notice how a lot of people with red hair have like freckles and stuff that are red. Or not red, but whatever color that is. Now, I can sort of make fun of it because most of my family is actually Celtic with red hair. So I'm not picking on them. No, yeah, then the explanation with Canelo Alvarez is they were saying that he might have an Irish distant relative, but no one's really aware of any, so it is a little bit weird, but who knows, right? I guess some people are really just born randomly with red hair, right? I've seen it happen a few times. Well, I shouldn't say without random. A lot of the cases I see it happen is where someone, like I just mentioned, has like a distant relative, and then all of a sudden they're born with red hair. People are like, what the hell? Where did this redhead come from? I don't know, in school they always try to teach you genetics, that somehow they predict that if it's a blonde-haired parent and a brown hair, that they can guess what skin, or not skin, what hair color will be. Or eye color. I don't know how true any of that is, because then you always get these redheads occasionally, and they're like, I don't know. All that science just went out the window. Oh yeah, isn't it the albino thing too? Yeah, like every once in a while there's like an albino. It doesn't even matter which culture. Man, was it me or all these battles taking forever? It's like, why can't we just kill them? I guess I can. I'll just have to skip it. But I was hoping we could actually see the outcome. How is this battle progressing? What should we change? I'm surprised Monk isn't hitting them harder. 14 rounds and he's still not killing them. Isn't he supposed to get stronger with each attack? Or it must be to a certain point. Oh, I don't know if anyone watched the Wild podcast that was on YouTube. That's a lot why I was a little bit late streaming. Now, I like to watch offensive podcasters, and one of the most offensive ones on YouTube is, what's her name? She's like some conservative, quote, conservative. It's like a hot babe. Can't remember her name. Southern or something. But anyway, her topic was she had a sex worker on the show. So I was like, what? A conservative woman is going to talk to a sex worker? This is going to be one hell of a podcast, right? So I put it on expecting them to be arguing, but it was almost more like just a lesbian love fest. So it was kind of weird. I didn't know that Lauren Southern is, I guess, has a pretty strong lesbian side. Which, yeah, that's a weird thing too. Everyone's like, oh, just because someone's gay, it doesn't mean they have to vote a certain way. It's like you can be any sexual orientation and still vote for someone else. It's not like you have to pick someone because of your orientation. Yeah, it's kind of... A lot of people just assume it, right? They're like, oh, this person's a lesbian. Must be that they're left-wing. Or because they're married to a guy and have kids. No, but it wasn't really a sex worker, so to speak, either, because I was thinking she meant like a prostitute or something. But no, it turned out she just had an OnlyFans model. So I was like, OnlyFans? Well, I guess that's considered sex work. Yeah, because who doesn't have an OnlyFans channel that's actually, well, not to make fun of girls, but there's not too many girls with OnlyFans pages that aren't actually topless, at least. I shouldn't say not only. I know a few of them I'm subscribed to, actually, are just doing sports-related stuff. No, one girl I watch is like one of the best bikers in the world, so I watch her channel. It's definitely not any porn. No, there's more to women than just porn, right? But no, the conversation was kind of interesting because they brought up, weren't you nervous about like doing OnlyFans and then having your parents find out and then looking at it? And then I was like, well, what happens if you made it a paid account though, right? Because then the only way they could actually find the images is if they subscribed. That'd be weird. That'd be the most awkward moment ever, right? It's like you're checking your OnlyFans account, hoping that you got new subscribers. You check who it is, and it's your parents. Like, no! Worst ever. No, Lauren Southern brought up a good point, though. She's like, yeah, that's the thing. She was like, if her parents died, she said she would all of a sudden turn wild. That the idea was that she's only conservative because she wants to portray that image for her parents. So I was like, well, that's kind of interesting that you admit that, but very honest too, right? I never gathered that she would be that honest. And then she was saying too that she actually has, what is it? She's somewhere on the autistic spectrum, so that's why she is a little bit more bold speaking. I was thinking, well, I can relate to that too, except mine came, well, not only from, but head injuries can contribute to that. I think I already had it bad before the head injury, so it was obviously going to make it a little worse. Who knows? I might have already been that worse. Couldn't tell the difference. Alright. So I'll send all, receive all. Yeah, so I'm starting to really freak out. Well, I shouldn't say freak out, but man, I really reaching the point now where do I sign the contract and really start this building project? Or talk to the city, make sure everything's going to get approved. Have to do that first, but... And really, I just got to focus on the health issue first, get all that back to better. Really only got a couple more days to go until my quarantine's over. No, for some reason in Canada, they make the mandatory quarantine 5 days after a negative test, or from when you stopped having symptoms. So, I guess you can still have symptoms, but as long as you're testing negative, I don't know. I'll have to check how that works. Oh yeah, did anyone notice the problem with the clone evolution thing here? They got a 5 dart and the purple jewels, and the purple jewels is labeled switch balloons. And what is the dart labeled? Wish. You know, I was thinking, look at that and switch. Take the wish and put it over here and put that over there. Do you think that actually made more sense to switch these? Because really, when you're pressing the dart, what does it do? It changes the balloons. It's switching them. And then if you use the jewel, what does it do? It pops it and makes your wish. So I was like, why did they have it labeled backwards? They have switch on the wish and wish on the switch. So I don't know if that was like a translation issue. Maybe when they were moving English to, or Chinese to English, they might have gave someone like the document and said, here, translate these to say witch and switch. And they got the two mixed up. And then no one else could speak English, so they didn't notice. Or maybe that is just I'm looking at it wrong, but really, like when I press this, what does it do? It switches the balloons, right? Watch, I'll click it. There, it switched them. It didn't make a wish, right? Making a wish is when I pick the jewels and then you get all the rewards. So I'll keep hitting switch or wish to swish the balloons. Oh, fuck. Can't even speak. Now, I haven't really picked what type of rewards I want from here because there's really not that many good options seem to pick from. Oh, you can only get that 6-1 once. I was wondering. So, wow, that's the one rare one I got. Fuck. I really wish they would have gave me a different rare. Oh, well. I don't know what that level shit is. If anyone knows how to change the levels. Yeah, let's take a break from talking so much for a second. Some bullets. We'll let the game do the talking. Speaking of, how is the sound? Now, I did some changes and I was like, shit, man, hopefully I didn't fuck everything up. Yeah, it looks kind of okay. Oh, shit, we got 2 pet collars. I don't think I should fuck around more than that, right? Just take that. Or what do you think? Keep hitting it? Hit that shit. Oh, man, if we could get her. Or even some of these chests. And always nice to get your hands on a new chest. Alright. Oh, I have the creepiest hand symbols ever. Alright, let's go, let's see here. Yeah, let's pick the balloons. We'll hit it and get our wish. Boom. 6 collars. Yeah. I don't know why I just wolf whistled for a pet color. Oh, that's why. Wolf and pet. Not because I find animals attractive. Oh, man. This is turning out to be the worst episode ever. All right, we'll just blame it on the virus. It's the virus's fault. Man. The virus has corrupted my brain. It no longer works. It's nothing to do with the weed. Now, I was thinking about the clone park thing. I really shouldn't even talk about it this episode. This episode's so getting taken down. And the only thing I was thinking, the only way that this episode won't get taken down is if that little algorithm below, it just can't translate what I say because I speak and mumble too much. That's our only chance. No, you'll never guess what happened. Like I said, I started this story before, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, and some people in the comments kept posting. They're like, man, those whole trials getting all this publication because they're trying to get people to not look into Epstein. So I was like, why the fuck would they want people not to look into Epstein? Like, obviously there's some bad stuff that was going on with him that we're not even really allowed to talk about on YouTube. But when I went to check, like, what's going on with this Epstein guy? Like, I heard he died in some weird prison accident where all of a sudden all the security cameras turned off right at the moment he died so that no one could see what happened. And I was like, wow, that does sound a little bit weird, right? But I never really looked into it. So it's like, fuck, man, if everyone's saying this is some big distraction for Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, maybe I should look the other way and see what people are saying. Hey, there's a big thing happening here and this celebrity thing is distracting everyone. So sadly, like, I read the details on what's his name, Epstein, and found out his past. And yeah, obviously he's got the problems with liking the younger girls, apparently. Well, I shouldn't even say apparently. He got charged and busted for it, right? So it's not allegedly at this point. But I think, yeah, what happened was he got busted in a court case in the past. And then they let him out, like, really early for some reason on some sort of plea deal. Oh, I think it's because he was giving so much money to charity. That's what it was. They're like, yeah, this guy's giving, like, millions of dollars to Harvard to help their science labs. So everyone's like, yeah, he's building state-of-the-art labs at Harvard. Like, maybe we should let him out of jail early, right? So yeah, that's what happened, is they let him out of jail early because he was giving all this money to, like, high-end schools and, like, building the best labs in the fucking country. And everyone's like, what the hell's going on with these labs, right? And why is he building them? So then there was, like, apparently something leaked out where he had a weird experiment going, and that's why he wanted to invest all these money into labs and shit. Now, obviously, it wasn't an experiment to do with these and all that. Different kind of lab, I think. They said that the labs that he was working on was stuff to do with, like, well, I shouldn't say it wasn't this, because it was eugenics, or not eugenics, transhumanist stuff. So they're trying to improve the human. So I was like, yeah, that's a really weird... Oh, maintenance. Please make sure to avoid losses. Okay. So yeah, I was like, oh, that's why. Like, everyone was always talking about Epstein, about he had all these problems with the girls and stuff. I was like, okay, who doesn't in Hollywood and shit? Like, that's the most common thing ever, right? Not to say that it's good or anything, but it's not shocking to find out. But then when I found out he had all these weird labs, I was like, oh, that's why everyone's, like, thinking he might have died in some weird way and all the footage went missing, is because he was doing some fucked up mad scientist shit. So I didn't even hear about that. It's like, all I heard was the girl stuff. So yeah, so I was thinking, how many times does that happen? There's some weird mad scientist stuff going on, and then there's a sex scandal, and which do people look at? Everyone looks to the sex scandal, right? The mad scientist stuff just gets completely overlooked. So yeah, I started to go down the rabbit hole, what the hell's going on at these labs. Obviously not to do with the virus and shit we can't talk about. And I don't even think it was related to that. And then I remember John McAfee, the crazy, or not crazy, the eccentric, what is it, the antivirus guy? And he had the big sex addictions going too. But at least his, I don't believe, was with the young girls. The only issue he had with that was he was into the prostitutes. But I think he went into countries where it was legal at least. Not that there's anything better about legal prostitution. Well, who's to judge, right? But if a country wants to legalize prostitution, you can't really judge their country's customs. And not everyone's going to be the same. But anyways, yeah, so John McAfee, he was also busted with like a weird lab. And he even did a whole talk show about it, where he was on Coast to Coast AM. He talked about how he went to Belize. He got a whole lab built, and it was full of prostitutes. So when the government came, or the cops found out that he had a big lab and it was full of prostitutes, then all of a sudden they're like, fuck, they gotta bust it. So they went and busted it. But John was saying that he wasn't even doing anything illegal. He said that his experiments in his lab, they weren't even against the law, that they were still legal. So he was really upset that they busted his lab, because he's like, fuck man, there was nothing even illegal in the lab. And then he said he got framed for murder. And then he had to flee the country, and he's been running ever since. And he actually got caught in Spain. So I don't know, John McAfee always struck me as a guy where I never trusted him. But when he started to tell that story, I never trusted him at all either when I first heard it. But now after this whole Epstein shit boiled out, I was like, holy fuck, man, I think John might have actually been doing some of the same lab stuff that fucking Epstein was. So anyway, someone that was getting Epstein in trouble, like leaking out the information so that they could at least bust him for the girl stuff, they also leaked out that he was doing an experiment with labs and that he was trying to get his DNA to anyone on the planet. So everyone was trying to figure out, like, that part leaked out, but how the fuck was he going to do that and why, right? Like, what's the point of adding your own DNA to everyone on the planet? Doesn't seem to make any sense, right? So some people thought that when he said that or leaked it out, that what he meant is that's why he had all the young girls, is he actually wanted to have like hundreds of kids or whatever. And that was one of the leading theories. But the problem with that theory is he was actually very anti-kids. He had like thousands of girlfriends and was extremely careful to never have kids. So I don't know if he had like a vasectomy or he just always used condoms, but no, apparently he actually had no kids. So isn't that weird that the guy who says he's going to spread his DNA to everyone on the planet, but he doesn't have kids? So obviously I was thinking at the time with these labs and stuff and the transhumanism stuff, what the fuck were John and Epstein doing in these labs, right? Like, what was the goal? And I was like, it's actually not even that hard to figure it out. They're all into the same thing. If anyone can guess, what do rich people want more than anything? Other than sex. Or drugs. It's like they all want to be immortal. They don't want to die, right? They just all want to live forever. That's why they're doing the transhumanism stuff. So a lot of people say, oh, this is all just weird stuff, that transhumanism doesn't really exist. But it's weird. It's like the state-of-the-art labs at Harvard and stuff. I bet you any money that's what Epstein was funding. Oh yeah, and guess what the transhumanism, like officially, where the road they went down, that has to do with clone evolution? The Clone Park event, or clone in general. Cloning technology is one of the ways that scientists figured out that they can extend the rich people's lives. And how? They can just clone their fucking bodies, right? So the obvious problem they run into when rich people try to clone their bodies and live forever, A, they got to start the clone at the same time they're born, so that the clone is relatively the same age. Or when they grow the clone, it's going to be a lot younger than them, right? Well, I guess it might not be such a bad thing. If you're like a 70-year-old person, would you rather be in a clone that's 20 or another 70-year-old clone, right? So what happened is I started looking more and more into this, and I'm like, shit, man. If you look around like Epstein and what he looks like and start like doing just general scans of like some of the biggest, richest family people, he has a lot of people that are the same age as him that look identical to him that are apparently not related at all. So the only thing I was thinking is maybe they're just like distant cousins. Like Epstein is a pretty popular name and a lot of rich and famous people do have the Epstein name, so it's like maybe that's just the coincidence. But then I was looking at some of the people, I'm like, dear God, man, like some of these people are identical clones to Epstein. Like, they look identical. So I was like, and they're same age, like same birth date. I'm like, this is really getting weird, right? Like, This guy doesn't have any kids, but he's got a whole shitload of rich and famous people that look identical to him. And a lot of them weren't even actually famous. They're just like rich and powerful and look like him. So I started comparing some of the images with scanning software. Some of them are saying these people are matches. So I was like, what the fuck, right? Like, you got two people, apparently no relation, yet both of them have like these identical personality traits. They look identical. It's really getting weird. And then I was thinking the one problem that Epstein and who is it, John McAfee and all the other transhumanism, even Elon Musk is into it, is they got to figure out a way to get their consciousness either into another clone or a robot. So some people are like, oh, the robot idea, like, you know, Futurama, it just sucks balls, right? No one wants their head in a jar. And no one wants a robot body either, right? So everyone wants the clone. So I looked into the documents and I found out there's been a whole bunch of lawsuits where countries tried to stop human cloning. Why? Because the therapeutic problems with it. Like, yeah, is it even really ethical to grow another human body and just keep it in a stasis chamber for like 40 years, waiting if you need it, right? And how are they going to do the transfer? Were they actually going to cut the brain of someone out and actually put it into the clone? Or did they find another way to do it? So that's what I was thinking. Can you imagine John McAfee and Epstein? The reason they had all these young girls in labs is they're probably doing experiments, right? It wasn't just sex stuff going on there. Now, I know that's a big stretch and probably get the channel in trouble, so I just have to say I agree with the official explanation on everything. Hopefully that covers my ass a little. And this is just random ideas of hopefully none of this is true. We're just debunking any rumors of it. No, but that rabbit hole, man, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. It's like you're fucking deep as a black hole when you look into it. God damn it. No, and the one thing I was thinking is, you know how everyone talks about The Simpsons? They predict everything. Simpsons, they predict everything. Has anyone ever heard of the movie Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee? I don't know. I guess the viewers, depending how old you are, it's like a 1979 movie maybe. So yeah, right when I was born basically. And it was like the most popular movie of martial arts history. Like it was the movie that put martial arts movies on the map in Hollywood. Like literally, if you look at every other martial arts movie before that one came out, they were all jokes. There wasn't one that actually was a serious martial arts movie. So anyways, with that Enter the Dragon movie, not to ruin the plot, if anyone hasn't seen it already, you had like 40 years to watch it. Should we pop these balloons, take the bullets? Nah. I don't need no bullets. So anyways, the movie for Enter the Dragon, guess what the fucking plot was? There was a giant lab, some fucking rich guy running a giant sex scandal ring. And when Bruce Lee went to the lab, or went to the island to bust the sex ring, guess what he found out? The sex ring was just a scandal or a cover-up for a fucking giant lab that was doing experiments on young girls. I was like, holy fuck, Bruce Lee. You were like better than The Simpsons, man. You seen Epstein's lab coming in like fucking 40 years before it happened. I don't know. Isn't that the weirdest thing ever? Like, if anyone's ever watched that movie, you got to check it out. Or if you haven't seen it, or I guess if you have, rewatch it. Fuck, man. Oh, man, we just keep getting worse bubbles. This was bad. Oh, there, at least we got a pet collar. Finally. Now, no offense to any of the victims or any of the families that had the sex stuff going on with Epstein, and not to try to draw attention from that. I guess that would be way worse than any of the lab stuff. So yeah, not to try to discredit. And we're just looking at it hypothetically. I don't think any of this is really true. We're debunking it. Now, if not to say that I guess this, but some people will probably guess what happened was is the government has a whole bunch of rich and famous people in it too, right? They got a lot of power. They want the transhuman stuff too. But in order to do these weird experiments, they can't do it legally. Because if they did, someone would like, hey, fuck you guys, you got to stop doing that shit, right? Can't be doing experiments on young girls, even if you are trying to like extend human life forever. Fuck, man, we're getting garbage. I'm just picking it. I can't just keep hitting that. All our darts are going away and they just keep giving me the same shit. That was brutal, man. We wasted a lot of darts there. But anyways, could be worse, man. We could be dealing with the fucking shit in those islands. Oh, man. So, yeah, so that rabbit hole with Epstein and everything, I was thinking maybe the Johnny Depp trial and Amber Heard really is a distraction from that. Because, man, that's a fucking epic rabbit hole. I never realized it was that deep. For some reason, I thought it was just another Hollywood sex scandal. I didn't think there was like a lab and everything. I was like, what the fuck? Some sort of mad scientist lab? What the hell's going on here? Fuck, man. So yeah, like if I had to guess, what happened was the governments, or not if I had to guess, if we're debunking the conspiracy, yeah, the governments, they had the people in power and the money, and they needed those experiments done because they want to live forever. Who doesn't, right? Especially once you start getting into your 50s and 60s, can you imagine? You'd be like, oh, fuck, let's bend the rules here, man. But yeah, anyways, like, Jesus. So yeah, they started to need to find some way to get these experiments done without getting themselves in trouble. So who did they find? They found someone else that could run the lab. Sort of like Guantanamo Bay. I don't know if anyone's heard of that. It's like a prison where they beat people and torture them. But the problem is they can't do it on American soil. Oh shit, we got the potions. So they have to do it on Guantanamo Bay because it's like some international border place or something. So they can get away with torturing people there and not breaking the laws in the States. I don't know if that's really true. That's just what I've heard, but allegedly. So I was thinking, yeah, Epstein's Island was basically the Guantanamo Bay for people that wanted to do weird experiments in a lab, and they needed a way to get away with it. They could be like, oh, fuck, man, it's just a sex scandal. Get a few years in prison, out in no time, and then Epstein's back to the fucking lab doing more experiments. That's probably why they let him out of prison so quick, too. I never even thought of that. The fucking guys running the lab that they need to fucking to extend their life, like how long would they put him in prison for? They're like, fuck, man, let the guy out. So that's what I was thinking. Like, everyone's like, well, if Epstein was like the kingpin in this lab situation, how the fuck did he get killed in it, right? By the end of the story. I was thinking, what happens if Epstein didn't die? He transferred into the clone. So obviously his old body died, but he's in the new Epstein now. And the whole reason that camera shit happened is maybe when they transfer you into the clone, they don't need to do a surgery. If anyone's seen Stargate and like the different shows about how they can transfer bodies, sometimes like advanced cultures in science fiction develop a technology where they can transfer bodies pretty damn quick. The Bible talks about it, like the demonic possessions and stuff, like that idea of like taking over a new body. It's not like that outrageous of an idea. The only thing that's really outrageous about it is if humans could do it, right? Like, we've always talked about demons being able to do it for years and years, but I don't think anyone considered the idea that humans would develop the technology to possess people. That's kind of fucked up, right? Especially if we've developed the technology to possess people, and then we're doing it by making our own clones and then possessing them on purpose. Yeah, that's a fucked up situation, man. Holy shit. Holy. Woo, yeah. I don't know, some people said the rewards sucked for this. Yeah, they're not the greatest, but that wasn't so bad. We got jewels and purple potions. Excuse me. Yeah, this is good, man. The Coke, I don't know, like when I go to bed at night, some people, like, I always heard that the virus is worse at night, But for me, I find it's worse during while I'm awake. Like right before I go to bed, even at night, it seemed actually not that bad. Even better when I woke up. It was mainly once I started using the vape, it starts getting worse again. And that's when I'm awake. Fuck, man, if only I had better self-control. No, I really shouldn't blame it and just act. Try to grow a pair. Fucking put the vape away, man. Now let's see. Base, is that? I keep trying to find... What am I clicking that's wrong here? Why can't we do any battles? I always forget how to do this. Space? Oh, there it is. Alderaan. Is that what I click? Return voyage? Ah, there it is. Finally. Oh, we got a new blueprint. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking A. Now, I probably have the weirdest Epstein ideas that anyone's ever heard. And it's not like I've been looking into it long. Just came up with it. I'll probably have a new theory about it in a week or two. Yeah, that was the thing. Can you imagine if not only Epstein didn't die, but John McAfee didn't die either? Same thing happened. They both got new bodies or new clones. I wouldn't put it past those guys, man. They had the money, they had the power, they had the labs, and they both died in like really weird, the same weird circumstance. That's the weird thing too, right? They both died the same way, where they were in a fucking jail cell and the camera broke and they couldn't see what happened. They both had that happen. Like, what are the odds, right? No, I think if John actually got transferred into a new body or whatever, there's no way he wouldn't be able to tell everyone. So if he really did do it, then we'll find out. There's no way. Unless he's like so worried that people will kill him over it, I don't know. Because what happened is I looked it up and there was actually a law that was passed where they tried to stop human cloning, and guess what happened? The law got thrown down. And they said why? Because they're going to use them for therapeutic purposes. So they're almost like really admitting it right in the laws, right? They're literally using clones for human therapy. So what does that mean? Yeah, it's funny how we play Clone Evolution. I never really thought clones would come up in my daily life research. I should have seen it coming. I don't know, it's not always such a bad idea other than the people that got forced into experiments, but it's like, God, if they actually did have that technology and everyone could just live forever. But the obvious problem with that is they were saying, what do they do with the clones? If you make a human clone of yourself, do you just put it in a stasis chamber and just like imprison it for 40 years? And especially if it's a sentient clone, right? So then there's probably the ethical debate, right? You can't just put someone in a prison for 40 years and then harvest their body, even if they are just a clone, right? Like, that's got to be the worst possible situation. So that's what I was thinking. You know how we got the weird abortion debate? Hopefully we're allowed to talk about that on YouTube. Is what was the abortion major issue? Is the fucking stem cells, right? Like, that was the problem. Is a lot of people, sure, they want abortions for sex and all that shit, but the other thing is everyone needs the goddamn stem cells, right? Especially the old people, especially people my age. Like, once you start getting 40s and 50s, if you take the experimental stem cells, you start feeling 20 again, right? Not that I've done it, but I've definitely talked to people my age who went, well, I didn't talk to them, but listened to podcasts. And yeah, and people are going to these labs and paying shitloads of money for the stem cells, and they're not paying that much because it doesn't work, right? So that's the big ethical problem where everyone's like, holy fuck, man, like these guys, like, they need abortions in order to get these stem cells. So all of a sudden, if they pass these anti-abortion laws, they're cutting off the supply of the people's stem cells. And that's literally putting like old rich people's lives in danger. So why would they be allowing it to happen? Unless there's like a backup plan, right? Have they already switched to the backup plan and now they don't need the stem cells anymore? That's the one idea too. Maybe John McAfee and Epstein really did die because the people in charge of those labs, or the governments that collected the data from the labs, they don't need Epstein and John as soon as they accomplish the goal, right? It's like all of a sudden they accomplish the experiment and it solves the mystery. They get the technology. Then what happens? They don't need Epstein or John. So the only thing I was thinking is if John and Epstein were that high up in the chain, they could save their own asses because they'd be in charge of it. So how high up that chain were they? Were they at the point where they would just get knocked off? Maybe it was, right? Or did they really be at the very top of that chain because they had so much money and power, so they were the first people to get the clones? That's really, when you look at humanity in the future, one day we're going to be seeing that. And I bet you any money it'll happen underground before it actually goes mainstream. Someone is going to get a clone body, and they won't tell anyone about it because it's going to be so unethical. Like, can you imagine they literally kept clones of themselves alive in a lab for 40 years? Or in their cases, it would have been, well, who knows when they started growing the clones. I don't know how far clone technology has come too. Do they actually have to wait to grow a clone at a natural speed? Or can they speed up the growth rate? I don't even know. No, I was thinking that this is a sign of the office, or the opposite prophecy from like the ancient Persian texts and all that, or Assyrian or Iranian, whatever that is. But yeah, they were talking about that, everything switching to the opposite. I was thinking that's a sign with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, everyone taking a man's side. That's really the opposite, right? Is like even 10 years ago, if you said this trial was happening, almost everyone you would guarantee would back up Amber because everyone was against the man back then, right? It's very rare and recently where all of a sudden everyone's jumping to the defense of the man. Like, what the fuck? I don't think I've ever seen that before. Normally it's everyone turns against the guy, and rightfully so, because the guy should be strong enough that he can handle it. That's how I look at it too. When the cops arrest the guy always, it's almost like a compliment in a way, right? Not to put women down or anything, but when the cop picks the man as like the stronger one of the two and puts them in jail, it's like they're almost admitting like, yeah, man, you're really strong. We have to put you in jail just to let this situation boil down. So I wouldn't always look at it as being like, oh, they're picking on men, putting them in jail. Now I wonder what happens to my friend's dad too. Like when he watches this Amber Heard trial, he's probably so cheering for Johnny Depp, right? It's like, put that woman in jail. Well, I guess they're not really going for jail in this, right? It's just libel, so I don't think you can really go to jail unless you're charged for libel in Utah. In Utah, they have jail for libel. I think Johnny and who was it, Amber, are they in Texas or are they in California? California libel laws, I don't believe in allows jail, so they would be fine from that there. I was actually just checking into libel laws for one of my other podcast topics. Now I'm always saying allegedly. Allegedly. Oh fuck, one of my heroes died? Son of a whore. Oh, it was all one of the weak ones. That didn't matter. They were just a clone. Disposable. No, really the Clone Wars, or yeah, they think of Star Wars the Clone Wars. Fuck, man. Our society's seen this clone stuff coming a mile away. It was in all the media. Bruce Lee's movie with the fucking island. I'll have to watch that Bruce Lee movie again and look closer into any of the secrets that are in it. Not that Bruce Lee actually knew, but maybe he just happened to put it in there without even realizing at the time. It's just how the universe works out. No, isn't that one of the old prophecies from First Nation stuff? I wonder if George is listening. He can maybe tell us. is they have like an old saying where like what the people believe is true. Sort of like whatever we're actually dreaming or thinking about in reality tends to spawn things into existence, and no one can really explain why it is other than the natives. They got it all figured out, I guess. Fuck, man. Some days I wish the Europeans would have focused on pagan stuff longer instead of fucking around with the church. Well, the church did some good stuff. I shouldn't always be bashing the church for it. No one's perfect. Judge not, ye be judged. Excuse me. Yeah, so it's kind of sad that I didn't get that Star Wars bag. Part of me was tempted to be like, hey man, maybe I can just keep doing PCR tests till I get a negative one and then say that all the positives were false. So that's how I was kind of pissed off about that test. I don't know if anyone's ever done those rapid things. It's so, well, I shouldn't say it's a hard test to do, but when you're putting it on the table, like to dry or whatever for the results to finish, you have to wait like 20 minutes or something, it says on the package. Mine took closer to an hour. So I don't know if like it was closer to the expiry date or whatever it was, but it was taking a lot longer than it said on the package. So that was making me a little bit suspicious if it was even working properly. But then I tested with my roommate and it worked for her. So I was like, oh well, if it's working and seems like it doing 2 different people and getting 2 different results. Yeah, so if anyone's done those tests, not to offer advice, but sometimes check it again, the result, like an hour or even 2 later. It's weird how sometimes the result takes a lot longer to show up than it says on the package. I probably just did it wrong. Maybe someone else has had better luck with those tests, but man. Like the one test, I thought, oh, it didn't even work. Came back like an hour later and it was like, oh, there it did work. Yeah, it is kind of neat technology, and when you look at it, you're like, oh my god, the government was like charging us hundreds of dollars to do these tests before. And when you look how easy it is, it's like, dear god, man, it's like a 10-cent. I'd be surprised if you couldn't make that test kit for under $1. I'd say under 10 cents. Like everything that's in there, unless one of those chemicals is like super expensive, which I doubt it kind of looks like saline water. And to think that our fucking government billed the taxpayers like billions for those tests. Fuck, man. A lot of the money went straight to Germany. I was like, oh god. Why couldn't we have at least built the test kits here? Why did we have to give all the money to Germany? Fuck. Not that I hate the Germans. I'm half German myself, but still, it's like, god, why? At least it didn't go to France. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so what do we got for more clone evolution topics? I think I covered everything that's been new in my life for while I was gone, taking a break, being sick. No, being on a break while being sick, I was like, God, I wish I could just drink some booze. I was like, oh, I don't want to take any chances with killing my immune system while I'm trying to fight off a fucking virus. I know I've heard it doesn't mix well with alcohol, so definitely don't want to take any chances there. Oh fuck, lucky I skipped it. I was trying to remember what battle we were on. Oh fuck, that reminds me. I want to show everyone this new trick I figured out. Oh, and we didn't figure out the Discord either. So we shared Steadfast his image. Altstinger says get better soon. Oh, Emperor says get better soon too. Oh, and he says, yeah, that was pretty funny. Make sure you count your scrolls next time. No, luckily, before I wasted all the scrolls, I realized how bad my math was. And I just stopped burning them because I was like, fuck, we already got one good hero. Let's just call it. So we stopped with 28 left still. So we didn't actually burn that bad of them. I think we burned about half of them, or was I at 70 before? I'm trying to remember. But anyways, at least we didn't go down to 0, and we're over 10,000 purple jewels. So we're not looking too bad. The only thing that sucks is we didn't get all those good heroes, but oh well. I should be used to that. Failure is my middle name. No, just kidding. No, I don't want to keep making fun of myself. I gotta cut myself some slack. I know some people give me a hard time about it. They're like, Leland, you gotta stop being so hard on yourself all the time. I'm like, oh, I try. It's actually in my nature to pick on everyone and myself equally. Can tell that's why I usually spend most of my time streaming alone. No, at least in person, I'm a lot more personable. If anyone's wondering if I act the same online as I do in person, usually in person I have at least a little bit more of a filter. A little bit. Sometimes I gotta admit, it gets out of control, but yeah, not as much as online. So, ooh. Yeah, we'll do a few of these. No, usually in person, I feel bad where it's like if you see someone's actual face and reaction, it's like what they say online, right? Like when you're online, you're never seeing how people react. So it's hard to have that same filter where you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be saying something that's so mean because the people are like crying and you can't even see it, right? Oh, which reminds me, I made one of the worst mistakes I've ever made. So if anyone wants to hear a good mistake story, to try to example of what not to do. Holy fuck, man. I'm still sick to my stomach just thinking about it. Now, I was debating in the Amber Heard trial, like in Johnny Depp, different comments and stuff with different people. And this one woman was writing a comment, and I started reading it. And yeah, we were talking back and forth, different comments. And then she put a really long comment. So I started to read the comment, and I only read like 1 or 2 lines into it, and there was a funny part. So what did I do? I went down to the bottom, and I clicked a reaction. I was like, fuck. I read the rest of the sentence of what she was talking about, and then she started talking about how she got abused. I was like, oh my God, I just laughed at a comment about a woman because the beginning part of it said that something funny, and then I didn't read the rest. I was like, oh shit. So I went to go and like change it to like a like or a wow symbol. And she already was so upset that she took the comment down. I was like, oh my God, I fucking laughed at it. I was like, man, that was probably the most worst thing I've done online ever. I was trying to think of something worse. I don't think I have. I was like, God, hopefully she didn't take the comment down like in tears and thinking that I actually was laughing at the part where she got abused and shit. It's like, fuck. Now I think from now on, when I ever go to comment or with a reaction in Facebook, I'm going to fucking read the whole thing first before I start reacting. Dear God. Yeah, so finishing quick, not always better. God, that was so horrible. Now, I was kind of hoping that I could track down who she was and be like, dear God, sorry, I didn't actually mean to laugh at that. I only read the first sentence and then reacted. Jesus. Yeah, online is like, I don't know if it's worth the stress sometimes. When people stop using the internet and they say it's better for you, I'm like, you know what? I bet you it probably is to a certain degree. Not to offer internet advice. Now, I was thinking of all the things I've ever done online that I felt sick to my stomach after. I was like, oh man, that had to be the worst. Yeah, if I was pray to God that she didn't like go and get upset and like harm herself or something. Like, dear God. All what you could do just by clicking the laugh icon by accident. Jesus. Now, that's what I was thinking too. Sometimes I've posted like personal stuff and people laugh at it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should take that into consideration. Maybe some people actually do just laugh at it by accident. Not just freak out, oh God, this person's laughing at me. They're all laughing at me. Alright, so we beat all that. Oh, bad terminology. We defeated all that. Oh yeah, got some more DNA and scrolls. Oh yeah, the bounty hunter mission. I knew we were forgetting something. Alright, let's start by beating up Bin Laden. Look how many bullets we got. We could really go to town and try to beat the limited event bullet thing. But I'm not really digging the reward. If it wasn't this glasses guy, excuse me, if it's someone we really needed, then I would totally do it. And there's no bonus reward too. So I was thinking I should really wait till there's a bonus reward. Because if I'm going to be burning all these bullets, let's do it and do it right. Go big or go home. So for now, we'll do the bullet missions that cost a little bit. We can get some casino tokens. That's what we'll focus on. Alright, so I think I'll have to wrap this up soon. I'm starting to notice my throat is getting worse from talking too much. Now, if anyone's wondering like how bad I'm going to be, like, don't worry too much. I think I'm going to be okay. Knock on wood. No, it really has gotten better for 2 or 3 days in a row now. At least I'm not at the phase of getting worse. But you never know. You do hear stories about people going back to getting worse, so I'm going to still take it easy. Other than streaming for hours. Now, I know some people were getting up back to me and wanted to do podcast recordings, but I don't know. I'm a little bit out of it still, so maybe once I'm feeling better. At least with Clone Evolution, it's not as intensive of trying to keep track of an interview and have reasonable questions ready. I know in most cases I already do interviews really bad, so I don't want to make it even worse. Oh shit, warp gate. Holy fuck, it's almost 2 in the morning? Dear God. Yeah, maybe I am getting insomnia from something else other than just the weed. Because, yeah, this is weird. Like, 2 in the morning? Like, fuck, man, I should be yawning like crazy. I don't know if anyone's seen my streams before, but normally like 8 or 9 o'clock, man, I'm like half asleep. I'm definitely not sleeping right. Yeah, so that's the weird symptoms I got. The not sleeping right, body aches, bad pressure if I vaporize. Hopefully I'll be able to look back in a week or two and be like, oh, it's all gone. It's all... Oh yeah, Colin was saying the longer that you fight, the harder he hits. So he might have just posted that. Or no, that was yesterday. What am I reading? Oh yeah, that was before. Yeah, it's not so bad. As long as I keep the vaporizing down to just 1 or 2 hits an hour, it doesn't cause discomfort. But if I start going crazy on it, yeah, you definitely could feel that your lungs aren't in good shape. Now, if anyone's wondering if I was going to try some of those like bold treatments or whatever, the one treatment I did try that's a little bit bold is I took a lot of the supplements. So I did take the vitamin D. I was like, all right, vitamin D, it's something I can try, and even if it doesn't do anything like for the virus, at least vitamin D is still a supplement, and people do take supplements, so it's not that risky. Unless you probably should still talk to a dietitian or your doctor about taking supplements, but don't be taking dietary advice from me. Now, I was thinking that because I was like, you know what? Maybe that's one of the reasons why I did catch it is A, I've been a little bit down the dumps, well, to say the least, about my uncle. And B, it's like, yeah, I haven't been going outside very much. I just started going back outside. Because we're like winter, right? Like not outside a whole lot in the winter, other than for work. So yeah, I was definitely low on vitamin D, immune system compromised from being down in the dumps. You know what I was thinking that was the funniest thing? I always heard people talk about your immune system being tied to your emotional state, and I never believed it. I was like, oh yeah, right. If you get depressed, you're gonna get sick more, whatever. And then that was the weirdest thing. It's like I had a really bad breakup, like one of the worst that I've ever had. And I was like, shit, man, all of a sudden I got sick. I was like, what the hell? I usually never get sick. And then all of a sudden I got sick. So I was wondering that. I was like, yeah, maybe those people saying your emotional state being tied to your immune system, maybe it is something to it. Who knows? Yeah, there's probably a million factors. Emotional state, how much sleep you're getting, what you're eating, who knows? How much exercise you're getting. How much fresh air. What the climate is. Yeah, and if anyone's got any guesses about what's been going on in McAfee's and Epstein's lab, maybe don't put it in the YouTube chat. It's like, dear God, this video's toast. What did we all talk about today? About everything we're not supposed to. No, I'll just figure, like, I agree with the World Health Organization, the CDC. I agree with the war's official stance. I guess I agree on the Epstein stance. Is that something we have to say too? All right, so let's refresh. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was talking about today. I forgot the whole sex stuff with the YouTubers. Yeah, so they were talking about, like, when you're a girl and you're trying to get going on OnlyFans, they're complaining, saying that if you start off and you sign up for OnlyFans and you're a nobody, you're only going to make $50 a month. Hey, speaking of, hey, Naked HD, welcome back. I know Shelly tells me you're just a bot, but I believe in you. But anyways, yeah, the whole sex thing for OnlyFans is they were saying that, yeah, just the entry-level girl signing up for OnlyFans is only making $50 a month. I was like, only? That sounds amazing for not even having a good channel, just for starting one. I was like, wow, so lucky. I don't think guys are that lucky, but maybe. No, it is weird too. They talked about it. People that do OnlyFans and I guess nude posing in general, it really depends on their parents, right? Like a lot of people, when both parents die, they just lose that filter where they really don't give a shit anymore, right? I never even thought about that. It's like a lot of times in our society, we're really just doing things as a peer pressure, right? To that extent, I would have never even thought. Now, I was kind of wondering about that too. I was thinking, man, when I started doing wild YouTube streaming, that I was going to piss people off too much, especially in my family if people got in trouble. And the one that bothered me the most was my grandma. I was like, oh God, if my grandma watched the YouTube channel, I'd be so embarrassed. But then after she died, I was like, all right, let's just let her rip. Oh God, I miss my grandma. All right, let's chase this guy. Now, it's been a rough couple years, man. I literally lost almost every close person in my family. It's kind of fucked up situation. Normally, you just lose one or two. It's kind of weird to lose everyone. Now, I still got my mom at least, but yeah, she's not doing the greatest either. Elite treasure box. Let's break her open. Now, that's what I was thinking, man. If my mom died, not to knock on wood, but fuck, then I would really be at the point where I'd have no family left that I really hung out with much at all anymore. Either I make a new family or try to reconnect with other family members that I don't really talk to much. Elite. Alright, so I guess we probably should do the sponsor stuff. Well, I still got the energy. Then we'll wrap it up. If anyone wants to see something more in the show from the game, just let me know. There's probably something I forgot to do. I'll check the list when we get back from the break stuff. Alright, let's go to the break stuff. Where is it? I can't shake my head too much because I got that headache symptom still. Where is it? There it is.
Today's recovery episode is brought to you by Crack. Crack, it'll fuck you up.
Alright, Tsuki, Dan, Jim, Ray, Travis, everyone a patron, thanks a million. Excuse me. Sorry, I'll try not to drink pop again. This is the worst burping episode ever. Now let's go affiliate links. Of course, I have to like echo the burp unintentionally every time. Society 6, finishing quick, my specialty. T-shirts, bed sheets, both popular with the ladies. Hideout TV, pays you to watch videos. Swag books, to shop, GameKit to try games, and free Bitcoin. It's the wallet system for crypto. Yeah, just make sure, follow the regional laws, including the virtual mate and the crypto wallets. Yeah, the laws on everything. Who am I kidding? And $10 off on 150 or more with the coupon code LYNBS. That's LYN. BS. N. No, it's not BS. It is a real coupon code. I'm sure everyone's heard me say it, so let's get back to the show. There we go. I can't find any of the buttons tonight. That's what she said. No, it's the weirdest thing. Like, you ever get sick and it clears up something else? That was the weirdest thing. Everyone who got the virus, like, they were all talking. It helps you quit smoking. It's just so weird. Like, I talked to people that hadn't been able to quit smoking their whole life. And then when they got the virus, it helped them quit. And they were saying not only did it help them quit, but it made it easy to quit. I was like, yeah, that's the weirdest thing, right? It's like when your lungs just feel like shit, you're like, oh man, quitting's easy. Because you're like, you literally can't smoke. Hey, well, I guess you could try to force it, but man, that would sting like a fucking bitch. So not to say the virus is good or anything, but I was like, man, there is kind of like a couple things it can help with. It's weird. Obviously, it's not worth the risk, but if anyone's trying to get it on purpose, it's like, oh, I need to quit smoking. I'll just get the virus. All right, big meal or space shuttle? Yeah, let's go big meal. No, and obviously every flu is like that to a certain degree. Like if you get strep throat or bad cough or something, probably going to quit smoking for a while. No, for me, I was hoping it would quit vaping longer, but yeah, didn't really. 2 days, probably. Yeah, I was bad for about 2 days. Now, I was a little bit worried, too, because I was like, shit, man, if any of these symptoms keep getting worse, definitely going to have to go and get it checked out, but so far, so good. Alright, space shuttle. Yeah, I guess we got no choice. I'm like, what else can I pick? Nothing. Oh, good merchant. Let's hope he's got some fist action for us. Ah, it's just the jewels. Alright, so we'll go with the babe instead. Hey, good morning from Norway. Acid Carbine, thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, morning already. Shit, yeah, I keep forgetting it's 2 a.m. Shelly would be tuning in soon. Or is she here already? Not yet, eh? Break open. Now, I'm always fascinated to hear from people overseas. It's probably because I've been in Canada my whole life and never really left the country except for really short trips to the States. Not even overnight. Who was it? Yeah, I was talking to a hot babe from England. Oh yeah, this was even today. No, she was really into Harry Potter stuff, sharing some videos of the different live Harry Potter shows that go on in England, and I was like, wow, some of those are pretty wild. I didn't get to see the show part, but the theater looked amazing. Alright, let's go Lost Lamb or Treasure Box. Lost Lamb. Let's get some bullets. Now, I was really looking forward to world traveling and all this, and now testing positive sucks, so won't be doing any trip plans for quite a while. Got to make sure I'm back to 100%. I was still kind of hoping to go for June, especially if I can work on my garage up north, but hey, health first. We got to try to get that back in order. And who knows, maybe I'll be back with weeks to spare. Oh, fuck, the game's down because it's doing the update, I think. Or we just ran out of time. Alright, so we'll wrap it up. We'll give a shout out to all the viewers. Hopefully we didn't forget too much. Colin, thanks a million. Augusto. Whew, I'm out of breath. What Gremlin? Mohammed. Alt Stinger 11. Naked HD and Acid Carbar. Thanks a million. Yeah, I tested positive, what was it, on May 4th date. But I think I was actually sick the last show that we did. So I'm not sure what day that was. Because I was already feeling a little bit down then, but I was like, oh, maybe it's just a cold. And then I didn't actually do the test until I had to go to the stadium. So I was like, hey, man, if I got to go to stadium, I better make sure that I don't have anything. And my mom started to feel sick, so I was like, shit, let's see what it is. And what do you know? Well, thankfully, not such a bad case so far. I think it's the second time I've had it, too, because it's actually identical to what I felt last time I was sick. Yeah, 5 to 6 days. That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm at around day 4 or 5, and definitely almost to the point where, yeah, I'm already back to smoking and vaporizing again. My lungs were a little bit sore from vaping. I actually had to quit for 2 days. I was like, man, just can't do it. It feels tight. And I didn't want to push it. I'm like, man, if I'm down, I should really let my body heal, not force it to keep vaping. It's like, no rest for you. Vape nonstop. Alright, so let's go back to, yeah, I guess we're wrapping it up. Acid Carbine, so thanks a million. Now, the only thing is I'm a little bit out of it, I think, from the virus, and because I started vaping again after 2 days of not doing any. So yeah, it's hitting me a little bit harder. But anyways, let's wrap up this, and did we forget anything else? Oh yeah, the fire screen. Fire. Right, if you happen to get, any of the ship blueprints. We got some new blueprints. We'll do that next episode. And we'll probably do a few more of the popping of the balloons. So if you happen to get any ship blueprints and your vaporizer tastes like shit, give the show a dislike. But if it doesn't happen, you give the show a like and a share. Really appreciate it. Just make sure, never buy the products from my sponsor.
Because it will ruin your life. Bye for now, everyone.
And just to remind anyone, all those things we did before and talked about in the show, we agree with the World Health Organization. we agree with, any of the other official stuff. So thanks everyone. Bye for now. Take care. And hopefully the show is not removed. We'll see tomorrow, eh? We'll tune in. We'll be like, oh, there's Leland's first episode. Got deleted from YouTube. We'll see. I should stop saying that so that the algorithm doesn't hear me. All right. Bye for now, everyone. See ya. Good luck. Oh, just under 2 hours.